How about now? Is it now? Is there audio now? No. What about now? Anything. Is it now? Can you hear it? Is there audio now? Well, now there is. No. There we go. What about now? So I don't know why she's saying she can't hear audio. I can hear audio. All right. So we're a minute and 30 seconds in, and I just want to bring this up at the beginning because I made some shorts out of my last video. Okay. And I didn't know YouTube had this new policy that, I failed to read the details on it. I feel like my audio is really loud. I'm turning it down a little bit. Sorry about that. And now I have that weird sound powering down, powering up. Okay. But so I made shorts out of the last video, episode 27, which on screen was labeled episode 26. I'm sorry for that. And then I cut the 3 minutes and 10 seconds at the beginning that I was letting it run. I was letting it run. Okay. And hey, Tiny Nuke. Hey, I thought somebody was out yoing. Yo, 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 yo. Oh, I gotta put this back on vibrate because I turned everything off because there's stuff up. I'm getting notifications. Oh, look, there's buckaroos running in front of my trail camera right now. Literally. Oh, I can't see. I can't show all that. But I can show this. Look, buckaroos running in front of my trail cameras right now. Guess what time it is? You want to take a guess, everybody? It is exactly 11:01, 57, 58, 59. It's 11:02 EST. Guess what? You can't shoot D's at 11:02. What is happening? And that's my flex camera, not my I didn't see anything. Too bright and clear out tonight. It's very true. That's very true, Tiny Nuke. Very, very true. I was thinking about that whenever I was leaving the woods. I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be a very good, successful night for him because of how bright the moon was. Like, it was lighting everything up. Everything was lit up. Super, super bright out. Yeah. What is going on? I'm hearing all kinds of crashings and stuff. So I need to go back to my settings here and hope this doesn't mess up my audio. But I have to turn on. Oh, I can't even do it. I can't change it. It doesn't matter. All right. So tonight's going to be, obviously, it's already out of control. So the whole thing is, we have 5 topics and some funny stuffs and some not so funny stuffs, but we're just tossing it up here. And well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a moon. You see, I'm wearing the FBI shirt or hat. Firm believer in Jesus. And then it has over here, I love Jesus. And on the back it has Jesus. This is my FBI Jesus head. Wild, crazy, bright out. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I figured when I was walking out of the woods, I was like, yeah, it's going to not be a good night for yotes or coyote or the deer are loving it though. Yeah, no, the deer are out there right now. Oh, jeez. If I could just like cage them in there for a couple of, for half the night or whatever, then we'd have a great time. The game commission would love that one, wouldn't ya? Anyway, so so I want to get this out of the way. This here is my drone. I know you're gonna look at it and you're like, "That's a drone." Yes, this is a drone. So I intend on uh, making some footage. Okay, aerial footage of the beautiful woods because I got to make an introduction for my videos. And the reason I'm doing that is because my old channel, Spontaneous Ace, which no longer exists, by the way, uh, I always had an intro before my video, but those were all videos. I never really went live. So that's the difference. But it'll be an introduction video. It'll only be like, 30 seconds or something. So it's not annoying for people, but it gives time for people to get live or see my notification and decide whether they wanted to watch something stupid or not. Okay, I guess. So there's the drone. We're on episode 28. Fun fact: the triangle in a medical term means change. Okay, the triangle also symbol stands for something else, and it's the three connections. Right? Is uh, a pandemic, which I can say, right? A pandemic, a famine, and a war are the three conditions for complete civil and global unrest. Oh, I'd like that. Do that. You can email me at, will you type it out? I'll do it real quick. Oh, wait, it's not even typing. What am I doing? There we go. There it goes. All right. So that's where you can contact me through email. Um, and then whenever I do another hunting episode, I'll be able to include some of that, and I'll blurt out anything that doesn't need to be shown or whatever. But anyway, so topic number one is going to be the midterm election issues. Dems take control, mass flees, people fleeing New York. Mm-hmm. They're welcomed into Texas and Florida. Highly welcome. Due to, and I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but I'm gonna try because I heard it on the news a couple times. Mamdani's win. Did I pronounce it right? Mamdani? New York City exodus coming. What's happening? What's happening? Okay. And my strong moderator here can type or her view is on that in the hashtag people forgot about 9/11. Not that Mamdani himself had anything to do with 9/11, but the fact is that a very outspoken, very questionable, moral man is now in control of New York City. What? What is going on? None of the unaliving is on it. I like that he used the word unaliving. That's hilarious. Okay, so the number two topic. Wait, do I have that as number two? I gotta check. I gotta see what I got going on here because I'm not even sure. I'm not, I'm not even sure myself what's happening realistically. Uh, more. Yeah. Okay. So number two is God knows all. Yeah, he does. He absolutely does. Okay. Um, for he knoweth our frame. he remembers that we are dust, right? That's how he created Adam, out of dust. That's why it's in scripture, but we say from ashes to ash, or from ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? That's why. Okay, because we were created from dust. But God is just in all that he does. I wrote, Lord, I need my mother, not want. I miss my mom. I hope she's dwelling in his glory and there are no tears up there. For we are instructed, thou shalt not want. So there's a difference between wanting something and needing something. So my question is to everybody watching and whoever will watch this later, you can comment below or in the live chat currently, or X out and go to comments and write a comment. But if Christ were to come tonight, are you prepared? Are you ready? And are you knowing and understanding? Because we know that the Antichrist will be revealed first. And I don't believe that the Antichrist has been revealed. Has anybody claimed to be Christ yet recently? I mean, other than the people that really need mental help. You know what I mean? Never mind, I'm not going there. I woke up to, because I can't sleep without the TV on, okay? I woke up to the whole, what is that thing? The Mormons? The one guy that had like 37 wives? I can't forget his name, but he ended up going to prison because one of his wives spoke out. I mean, how do you live with 37 wives? Imagine that. I can't even fathom 2. Whew. But anyway, and yes, we are to only have one wife. It specifically states that in scripture, which goes back to my last live. You know, they want their ears tickled, right? Their itching ears want to hear what they want to hear. They want to live by what they want and what they feels right, and this, that, and another thing, and not the full scripture. See, that's the problem. Okay. I'd like to think so. Me too. Me too. That's how I feel about it too. Um, so the Du Bois Live, the side note here is Du Bois Live. No, what is it? EMT police in New York will ever treat them because why? You forgot 9/11. 9/11. Think about that. I know exactly where I was when that happened. I was sitting in history class of all classes, and my history teacher jumped up out of his seat. We were doing something writing. The whole class was completely silent. He jumps up out of his seat. He runs over. He grabs the TV, plugs it in. He plugs it into the little thing in the wall. And all of a sudden, we're seeing. I don't know what newscast it was, but I'm pretty sure it started with an F and it ended with an X. All right, and we're watching. And this was before the second one. But I was like, "Whoa, that's not good." And I'm looking around the class, and all the kids are like, what is happening right now? So my history teacher got it before anybody else. At that table. What table? What table? Oh. Yeah. Islamic terrorists. Right, exactly. I was getting to that, but yeah. So that's where I was when the terrorist attack happened. You know, I was in history class. Unbelievable. And I still feel for everybody who lost loved ones that day and firemen, and it was just unthinkable. Okay. Well, here's a little another side note that's not in the description information for tonight, but there is believed to be some of it's been thwarted already by Cash Patel, but not everything is gonna be right, and there is gonna be is an Islamic 9/11, right? But they're not gonna be attacking buildings and stuff. They're gonna attack power plants, infrastructure, like dams that hold water, hold back water. They're gonna attack internet. You're not gonna have power. Think about it. I forget what that was. That I don't know why I keep getting powering up, powering down, powering up, powering down again in my ear, but it's so distracting. I don't know what's happening. I mean, there's nothing that could be doing it. Is this still on? This is on. I'm turning this off. I don't care. That's my mouse. I don't know what causes the hiss. So that's why I don't like using the mouse. And watch the hiss not work now. Or not be there. But anyway, back to the whole, what's being planned. Okay. Effectively, that's what they're doing. Because America to them is the great Satan, and Israel is the little Satan. That's what they call us. They chant death to America, death to Israel. Google it, it's a fact. Okay, that's how they view us. Not all Muslims. No, not all Muslims. I will say there are Muslims out there that are very genuine, caring individuals. They're not radical. I'm talking about the radical ones. I'm talking about the ones that you can't even say God bless you. They take offense to it, right? It's nuts. So number 3. Now we can come back to that if we want to talk more on it, but I don't know who's sorry for what. But anyway, we can come back to it. The whole thing here is on number 3, and this is sad, and it did happen a little while ago, but Daniel, a father, is 47, and his son Cooper was 15. Their last name was Owen, and they were from Idaho Falls, and they were in Laos, Vietnam for QSI International School. Okay? So the park in, oh no, now she got me thinking like she did last night whenever I was reading this. Lang Parabang, okay, in Laos. They were ziplining October 15th, okay? And they were attacked by murder hornets. That's literally the nickname, okay? Their factually, their scientific name is Vespa mandarinia. It's VASPA okay? And why I'm covering this is because it's absolutely fascinating. First off, it's sad that 2 people lost their lives, but I'm going to get to that. There's way more people than just 2. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, because they're called Asian giant hornets, and multiple news agencies reported it. I don't know if Americans covered it, but Thailand obviously did. 18 years Daniel, the father, had dedicated to the school. So that's pretty sad. It says first recorded fatal attack in that area, the park that they were at. Okay. But in Japan, because I tried finding like a number in Vietnam of how many people on average are unalived every year by these murder hornets. Don't demonetize me, YouTube. It's literally what they're called. I mean, what do you want me to call them? The unaliving hornets? I tried getting a number, but they don't cover the numbers, right? They don't have a number. But in Japan, okay, 30 to 50 people unalived per year due to these nasty buggers. And I call them nasty buggers. Google the bites. Oh, gee. The bites or the stings? I can't see you. I don't know why I can't see you. There's stuffs. And then I asked a few more questions on it. And I'm allergic to bees. So if I get stung by one, I'm definitely dead. Unless I have an EpiPen, like, right, meow meow. But you can die from literally a single sting. And no, it's not the same difference. A bite is with a mouth. A sting is with a stinger. And technically, the abdomen. China had an outbreak of these murder hornets, okay, in 2013. And it killed 42 individuals. How about that? Imagine running into that. But they were basically, to back up onto this story here, Daniel and Cooper, rest in peace. They were ziplining, and it's not exactly clear whether it was Daniel, the father, the son Cooper, or one of the Vietnam people that help with the zip line, right? Make sure you're in the safety harness and this, that, and another thing, right? And somebody hit their nest. And what do you think murder hornets do? Well, they do what they're called. They murdered. And it was bad. I don't know how many times they were stung. I didn't get all that detail. But over 100 times. Do you imagine? That's why I just pray that the Lord takes me quick. He already has it planned out. You know, my whole story, my whole life has already been pre-written to a degree. We have free will, okay? Because if God had not given us free will, we would have just been robots. I can hear every little thing you're doing right now. And that would not glorify him, right? Just like whenever we make robots and we're like, go mow the grass, and it just drives around and mows the grass. It's doing what it does. Why? It just does what it's told to do. Okay. So that's why we have free will. Because God wants us to glorify him. He wants us to praise him. He's not forcing us to. He gives you an option. You can either do it or you can't. One of the two. Okay. There's no two ways about it. So this next part that I'm going to talk about here is people that absolutely Allah Akbar. And why is Hezbollah threatening to escalate? Now, to be clear, Hezbollah is run and funded, and pretty much they're puppets of the Iranian regime. Okay? So here's Israel. Here's Lebanon. Here's Syria off to the side. Here's Iraq. Okay, you get the picture. Middle East. Hezbollah's in the north. They're upset about the deal that they've been breaking ever since they made the deal. But suffice it to say, America has fairly good relations with Lebanon leaders, right? And even Lebanese government and military has been weeding out Hezbollah members, unaliving them. Well, Israel has stepped up the attacks big time. Okay, and they are actually absolutely hammering them now. Israel also has a buffer zone in Syria and in Lebanon. Okay, and the buffer zone is very important. Okay, it's rows of fence with barbed wire and stuff, and there's cameras and stuff, but there are very few troops or vehicles that patrol it, everything like that, right? And it's just to make sure that terrorists aren't coming across, right? And most of Hezbollah, well, they were supposed to be north of the Latoni River. That was the agreement. Well, they broke that. Now they're back south of the Latoni River, but I'm getting to that here in a minute. I'll just do it right now. So, uh, they're rebuilding, and they're rebuilding tunnels, and they're rebuilding their little, I can't even pew pew. Their big bada boom, right? Rockets, and trying to conceal them. Not working so well for them. Okay, it's really not, and they're very upset, to say the least. They are like murder hornets, except for they're not as effective. The buffer zone must remain. Okay. And it's not land that Israel is just like, oh, we're going to take this, keep it forever. They may keep it forever, but it's not land they're going to use. It's literally a buffer zone. Okay. It's for safety purposes. It would be like if we had two buffer zones, a buffer zone between America and Mexico, right? In between two different walls. But these are miles wide. Okay. And yes, Israel is warning the Lebanese people of Lebanon, right? Where they're going to strike. America, don't do that. If we end up striking in Venezuela, we are not going to send out mass text messages. Clear this building because in 2 hours it will be no more. Okay, we're not going to do that. We don't. Israel does, factually. That's why whenever people are like, oh, they're genociding. No, Israel is not. Hamas is. They're unaliving their own people. They line them up and they execute them. Literally. Okay? They unalive them themselves. They're now called the Gaza Police Force. They're no longer, Hamas. But they're still doing the same things. Unbelievable. So this these alerts that go out before the strikes include a 500-meter buffer. So 500 meters around the strike, the target, right? The strike package. And the IDF may conduct ground invasions, boots on the ground. You believe that? Nobody's typing. typing. Oh, is that going out to all? It says all, but why is it not showing all? Oh, there it goes. Okay, now I just sent them all to all. Hey, here we go. How about that? Hey, oh, I could do this too. I didn't know this. Boom. It's going to stay up there for 1 minute. How about that? All right, so back to where I was. Thank you for that. So IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Force, okay? Defense. What? We no longer are considered the Department of Defense, the DOD. It's the DOW. It's the Department of War. Why? Because that's what they do, and they're great at it. They're great at it. That's good and bad, by the way. But because Hezbollah keeps violating the ceasefire agreements, they're not supposed to be south of the Latoni River. Look up a map. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Let me go here. Let me see what's going. Oh no, I need my mouse to do this. I just have a feeling like my mouse is what is happening? We can't. Where are my banners? What happened to my banners? Oh, here we go. Hey. And no, we can't change the color, unfortunately. But you know, it's a little slower. You know, it's a little slower than the other platforms that I was on. But we're on Rumble, by the way. We're on Rumble, Locals, YouTube, and FB. For some reason, my ex won't connect, so I gotta check why. But it's not for whatever reason. Hey, how about that? They keep, you know, doing stuff they're not supposed to do. Okay, that's the point I'm making. Hezbollah, thumbs down. Okay, just like you know, the new guy in control of New York. Here's a not so serious question, but a funny one. Do you think that it's possible that Donald Trump just moves his Trump Tower from New York because of it? Could you imagine seeing that thing being lifted up out of the ground or something, put on a trailer and moved to another city? He has money to do it. Yeah, I just don't know if it's physically possible. Think about it. We'd have to be able to build the pyramids again. We can't even do that. We don't have cranes that can lift stone like that. It was a funny joke. Supposed to be. You know, maybe he'll just sell it now or something. Because he's like, I don't want to be in New York. Let's get rid of this stuff. There we go. All right. Newsflash. U.S. is building a new base in Syria. We have plenty of old ones. Why are we building a new one? Probably strategic placement, I'm guessing. I don't know. They are. and it'll be manned by probably 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 soldiers. Okay. Oh, and here's the side note also. Israel gets no oil from Syria. So for the people out there that are going ham because of this whole buffer zone in Syria and Lebanon and the Golan Heights and all this, that, and another thing, they don't get your oil. Your oil is it's junk oil like Venezuelan oil. We don't America does not need nor want Venezuelan oil. We have 3 refineries, okay, that can refine the oil from Venezuela. That's it. Because it's such horrible oil. You have to have special refineries for that. Not just any refinery will work. Okay. It's dirty, it's heavy, it's watery, salt watery, it's junk. We don't want your oil. We want Maduro gone, just like most of the Venezuelan people. The majority of Venezuelan people do not want Maduro in power. He's a dictator. And they call him that. Then he sends his henchmen out, just like somebody else I know that does that. And so, Israel gets their oil from Turkey. Between 40 and 60% of it comes from Azerbaijan. You believe that? Okay. Another 10 to 20% of it comes from America. And the remainder comes from Germany, EU, and the other European countries. Facts. Israel doesn't get a drop of oil from Russia. So now my last topic is the devotional, and then we can go back to other stuff. But this is where I get very serious. Strength, wisdom, and courage in famine and hard times. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because of all the stuff that's happening with our government. Okay? Food banks are being overrun, overwhelmed. There's big issues happening. Churches are being begged for help from people, for food, shelter, bills, you name it. Okay? And it is their responsibility to step up and help. Okay? It is. That's if you can't turn to the church for help, who do you expect to turn to? The church is the body of Christ here on earth. Who else do you turn to? You turn to God. Oh, yeah. And by the way, there's my sticker right there. And I'll prove it. Look, see, I'm wearing it. You see in all my videos, it's bearskin. I only wear bearskin. That's all I wear. It's all bearskin. Strength, wisdom, courage, and famine in hard times. So we're going to focus on the story of Joseph in Genesis, especially chapters 41 through 45. Strength and trust. During a 7-year famine, Joseph, now second in command in Egypt. So if you think about it in American terms, he was like J.D. Vance, but way better. Sorry, J.D. Way better. Administered a plan he wisely prepared for years. His story shows that even after great personal trials, absolutely, he had very, very many personal trials. He drew strength not from his own resources, but from trusting God's providence. That's Genesis 41:16. Philippians 4:13 is also a powerful affirmation. Quote, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. End quote. When facing scarcity, remember God is your source of strength. Remember that. If there's nobody else you can turn to, nobody you can talk to, No family, no loved ones, no nothing. Not even a preacher. Nobody you can talk to. You can always talk to God. It's absolutely free. Wisdom and provision. Joseph's wisdom allowed him to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, right? Because they were going through a famine, and implement a radical, organized strategy to save an entire region from starvation. Genesis 41:33-36. This demonstrates that God gives the wisdom needed for practical solutions in difficult times. James chapter 1, verse 5 encourages this. Quote, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him, or to him. End quote. Seek God's wisdom for your next steps. That one I try to live by daily. Sincerely, I do. Here's the tough one for everybody. Okay? Everybody struggles with this. Why? Because we're in a fallen nature. Courage and forgiveness. Remember, Joseph's brothers sold him, but claimed that he was dead. They took a scarf back to their father, right? Unalived. You have to read it. But when Joseph's brothers finally appeared, seeking food, remember Joseph was like the vice president. He was second in power in Egypt. Joseph showed tremendous courage and inner strength by not seeking revenge, but offering forgiveness and grace, recognizing that God had used their evil for good. God always uses evil for good. He always takes the bad and makes something great out of it. Every time. That's how you know God's involved. See, he's the only one that can do it. We as humans can't do that. We can't take something that's absolutely horrible and turn something into good, right? Like, look at the hurricanes and stuff, and how many of those have happened recently, and people get devastated because of it, and we're just like, oh yeah, send them money will fix it. No. Sometimes they need a hug, sometimes they need a prayer, sometimes they need to know that somebody truly cares, right? It's more than just money. Evil for good. Genesis chapter 50 verse 20. So Joshua 1 verse 9 provides the foundational call to courage. Quote, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God, there goes my camera. Did my camera just die? It did. Hold on 1 minute. We got to swap batteries. It's just Now it's just a matter of getting it back on. So we got to do this 12 times. See, this is what upsets me. Every time I do this, then the camera... Is my audio on again? I'm just wondering. So, do you want to power that off and power it back up for me? I don't know why it does this. See, this is what we deal with every time, people. Every time I do a live. Go ahead and try it. It's so super, super expensive. It's absolutely... And I just got to power it down. Nothing. There it is. Okay, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. Loki's over here. Look. So Loki Boki. Do you want to turn the camera for a second? Or no? Better not. All right. So where were we? We're just going to start back at the courage and growth. But offering forgiveness and grace to his brothers, right? Recognizing that God had used their evil for good. Genesis 50, verse 20. Joshua 1, verse 9 provides the foundational call to courage. Quote, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. End quote. In the face of overwhelming need or conflict, choose courage rooted in God's presence. Right? Oh, I'm not even on chat here. You guys see what's happening. Huh? Amen. Amen. So, to reflect the reflection, like Joseph, you, me, we, all of us, right, can navigate your hardest times, even famines or overwhelming crises, with God's strength, practical wisdom, and the courage to forgive and trust His ultimate plan. His. So, back to what I was saying at the beginning of it, is that we have free will. So, my history, that battery is really warm. See, that's my candy battery, by the way. It's really, really warm. We have free will. So, basically, you have the choice to go down this road or this road, right? And each one of those times you do that, it dictates what the next one is. It keeps branching off and branching off and branching off. And that's how God operates, right? So it's free will. You have to glorify Him. There's no two ways about it. So is there anything that I should go back on and cover better, or elaborate on? Israel, the Asian giant hornets. I don't know about you, but I never want to meet them guys. I'll tell you what. One time we were hunting, me and my fiance, we were walking up the hill, and I look over and I saw this massive, I mean, this thing was, I'm not exaggerating, it had to have been this big. This big. Massive. It was huge. I don't know what it was. I didn't want to get even near it to find out. But I knew it wasn't honeybees. I knew that much. I think they were yellow jackets. But it was in the middle of a forest. Middle of nowhere. It's like, what are they doing there? Swarming the trees. Yeah. Yeah. One time, whenever I was young, my father has a pear tree in his yard. Okay. He doesn't fertilize it so it doesn't produce pears. But I was mowing the grass. This is how I found out I was highly allergic to honeybees. Well, I'm mowing the grass and I do a couple rows. And then I get closer to this tree. And all of a sudden, I start seeing all these bugs. And I didn't know what they were. Right. But one lands on the tractor hood. It was a bee. I was like, oh. And I look up and it just swarms everywhere. And in the pear tree itself was just this big thing of bees. It was just all bees on top of the queen. The queen was inside, and all these bees were gathered around her. And my dad has a pretty big yard, and there were just bees as far as you could see. I just turned off the tractor. I don't even know if I put it in park. I was a young teen, but I just ran down to the house. My dad's like, "What are you doing?" He thought I was trying to get out of mowing the grass or something until he went outside and he was like, "Yeah, we're not doing that right now. That can wait." But my point is that those are Africanized bees. Okay, there's honeybees and then there's Africanized honeybees, and one will swarm you and one won't. All honeybees, though, whenever they sting you, they know they're about to be unalived. When they sting you, they unalive themselves. It's a one and done for a honeybee. They can't sting you over and over and over. Now, hornets, yellow jackets, wasps, so on and so forth, they're a little different. But I thought that was a fun fact. Not, yeah, there was another one here recently, this past summer. Wasn't it this past summer? Yeah. Right behind our own house, in the alley there. Kids were riding their bikes, and all of a sudden there was just bees everywhere. And they were up in a pine tree. And I was like, "But I've seen that before. That could get bad. That could get real bad." So those are the topics I wanted to cover tonight. We need to pray for the people who are living in New York, sincerely, because a lot of great people live in New York. Okay. And now they're dealing with somebody who is completely radical. He's absolutely radical. If you don't believe me, look up his name. Just look into him. Okay. It's like, what's her name that's in the Senate? Is she in Senate or Congress? The one that I believe, she's from Somalia. Okay. And dad, her father, was literally a Somalian pirate. And she had been arrested before. There's a mugshot of her. Right? I don't know all the details and charges and everything, so I'm not going to go into that. But I don't believe that she should be in Congress. Okay. And I'm all for legal immigration, right? That's what America's been built off of, legal immigration. You come here to do it legally, and all will be well. Just, you know, don't just hop the fence and think that it's all going to be gravy, because it's not. And I will touch on this for a minute, because I saw a saddening video. As you all know, or maybe you don't, but I am an avid supporter of Chuck Holton. Okay, the Hot Zone with Chuck Holton. He is a news correspondent, war correspondent for CBN Israel News. Okay, that's his actual job. He is an ex-Green Beret. He is an Army Ranger. He's fought in many battles. And he has his own show called The Hard Zone with Chuck Horton. And on his locals, which I'm on my locals right now too. So my Rumble is doing FB, YouTube, locals, and Rumble. Okay. And on his locals, a woman posted a video of a CPS or CYS worker, right, bawling their eyes out because these children have been, they're nearing adoption, right? That's how long they've been with these families. And these are Southerners' children's, okay? Now, when these illegals got busted and corralled up and deported back to where they came from, I don't know if I'm getting all my messages or not. They had two options, right? Because they birthed a child here in America, right? The child didn't come with them; it was birthed here, so they're very, very young, right? And max, they could be what, 4 years old by now. Well, they had two options. One, you can take your child with you back to the country that you're fleeing from for whatever reason you're fleeing from it for, or you can leave your child here with either a adoptive family, a foster family, families that work with CYS and CPS or whatever you call it in those other states. Here in Pennsylvania, it's CYS, Children Youth Services. Or family or loved ones that are legal here in the United States. And then mom and dad were deported, or mom was deported, or dad was deported, whatever, right? And my whole thought there is the video was portraying that Donald Trump is deporting all these poor Southerners, infants and children. And I don't think that that's what's actually happening. What I think is happening is it's coming up on the time where these foster families that are attempting to adopt these children and stuff are going to be granted what's that called? Like custody, right? Of the children. Could be one of the factors. Two, the other factor could be that there's a time limit. Or three is the factor that mom went back down to Mexico and she called the United States and was like, I want my baby sent down. So what's happening? Well, her child, which she has a right to, is being sent back home to her. But some of these people are portraying it like it's this horrible thing. I don't think it's horrible. Why is it horrible that these children are being reunited with their parents? Riddle me that. Go ahead, I'll wait. What is so wrong with these children going back with their parents? That's where they belong, right? Not with some just total stranger. And in the best case, they're with a family member that lives here in America and did it legally and didn't get deported. That's best case. They're with an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent or something, right? The worst case is that they were taken by CYS because of unstable living conditions or whatever the case may be. I don't want to get into the nicks and crannies of it, but the point is we just hit 1 hour, literally. Explains why my battery died. I wasn't paying attention to the timer. But I'm going to further on that, and that will be on episode 29 for sure. Because, like I said in my last podcast, all things come to an end. And so does this life. And what's really going on. Okay, those are my lines. Okay, and I want to thank you for watching another episode of Real World Truth Matters, because the truth does matter, and so do facts. And with that being said, until next time, stay blessed.